Another week done and dusted. We found ourselves asking for the longs, and the longs has found itself coming through. In the comment section, let me know what is your bias for this coming week. Are you long? Are you short when it comes down to the Nasdaq? Me, Diego, I am gonna find myself start looking for some shorts to open up. Let's get it right. So for the weekly time frame, we asked for the longs, right? We said that, hey, we can find ourselves having the longs coming through from this area onwards, as we are finding ourselves tapping within an actual bob. And look at that, we closed inside and we had the shift back towards the upside as well, right? That is pretty clean. All right, now let's scale to the daily time frame. Okay, now D, why did you say that you are going to find yourself looking for some shorts to find yourself opening up, right? So this whole area over here is basically finding itself serving as an area of supply to me. Okay, so if we are going to find ourselves having the closure above, there is that possibility for us having a further continuation move back towards the upside, right? But now another thing we need to find ourselves taking into consideration as well is fake outs to find itself starting to occurring within the market, right? So we don't have control over that, right? Unfortunately, we don't have control over fake outs, but you know what, that is just something you have to find yourself taking into consideration as well, right? So we can easily find ourselves creating a fake out to have somewhat of an actual shift back towards the downside. However, this whole area is finding itself serving as an actual area of supply to me, so I am waiting for price to have somewhat of an actual push back towards the downside, right? Now on the daily time frame, we can basically find ourselves just boxing out this little area over here, as we did find ourselves creating a fair value gap right there as a potential area to where we can find ourselves having somewhat of an actual drop from, right? That is around about 250 plus pips back towards the downside. More than enough play room for us. All right, so scaling down to our H4 time frame, let's see what is up. Let's see what is happening on our H4 time frame. Now, some of you who is watching my content, right, when it comes down to my breakdowns, right, and I am finding myself looking for some shorts, I am a little bit more excited, I guess, right? Simply because some investor also made mention, right, the bulls, they are finding themselves climbing the stairs, right? But the shorts, they are finding themselves jumping out the window, right? So it just simply means when the shorts is finding itself coming through, you know what, it comes through quite quickly, right? They are finding themselves dropping quite hard, so you can find yourself, making more as well, right? So with me basically looking for some shorts, hey, that's the reason. All right, that's the main reason. All right, so looking at our H4 time frame, let's look at structure in general. All right, check this out. Let me just do this. Keep in mind that this whole area is the fair value gap. We have found ourselves boxing out on our daily time frame, right? And ultimately, this area is the target to where I would love to see the Nasdaq come back into. All right, so looking at market structure, let's start off with our lows. We can see that we did find ourselves creating a low, higher low right over there. Did we find ourselves creating another actual higher low? Not just off yet. All right, not just off yet. Now you may say that this is a higher low. Maybe in your preference it is an actual higher low, but mine's is not an actual higher low, right? To me, a proper higher low will basically be if we can see two consecutive down close candles, then I would be like, okay, cool, that's a high low, right? But can you see two consecutive down close candles over here? No, right? Can you see two consecutive down close candles over here? Right? No. Can you see two consecutive down close candles over here? No, you can not, right? So I'm basically looking at the Nasdaq to find itself creating that actual higher low for us. All right, so even if you can find yourself grabbing somewhat of an actual trend line just like that, right, you are basically finding yourself looking at the first touch, you are finding yourself looking at the second touch, and you want to find yourself looking for that third touch, right? And if we can see that potential shift back to the downside, have somewhat of a closure, come back for the retest, respect the area, where's the next area we can find ourselves having our eye out on, right? this will be ultimately the overall target, right? And this will be somewhat of an actual, you know what, a target you can also find yourself having. However, ultimately the low of the trend line will be the overall target to where you would love to see price find itself heading back into, right? So we don't have to find ourselves stressing about that just of yet. For now, all we want to see is somewhat of an actual third touch, right? I'm not saying, notice that I'm not saying that we're going to have the third touch and have a spike from this area. We're going to have a third touch and then have a break below, right? No, I'm taking it as how my technical analysis is allowing me to see it, right? I'm taking it as what my technical analysis is giving to me. I'm not trying to predict what can happen. Right now, you may be like, D, but you are predicting that price is going to find itself coming all the way back down here, right? I'm just making that assumption based off what structure is telling me, right? Let's look at those highs. Those highs is giving us a higher high, well, an actual high, right? This is an actual high, right? Have we found ourselves creating a higher high? Yes, D, no, D. Yes, we had just there, right? Where current PA is currently, that is a higher high which is finding itself being created, right? Now, if we're going to look at market structure, does the chart just move like that, right? Just creating one, what do you call this, linear position towards the upside? No, right? Or does the market do this? Have somewhat of an actual correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. Yes, this is it, right? The market moves in corrections and impulse, higher highs and higher lows within an actual bullish market. So since we are finding ourselves creating a higher high, I am expecting price to have that shift back towards the downside. Now some may be like, D, but why would you want to trade a correction? Keep in mind that this is a 4-hourly time frame, right? It's not a 5-minute, it's not a 1 minute, it's a 4-hourly time frame from where current PA is. That is 250 plus pips back towards the downside. That is more than enough playground. All right, that is more than enough playground for us to find ourselves taking advantage of PA. All right, so looking at these highs we have found ourselves creating on our H4 time frame as well, right? This whole region over here is also finding itself serving as an area of supply to where we are finding ourselves tapping into. All right, this whole area is serving as an area of supply to where we are finding ourselves currently tapping into. Okay, now make note, on the daily time frame I basically said that we have to now find ourselves being quite cautious when it comes down to fake outs, because fake outs time is coming, right? So even if we can find ourselves seeing that actual shift to the upside, take out these highs, we are finding ourselves taking out liquidity, wait for somewhat of an actual change in structure, right? Whether this is on a 1 hourly 15-minute time frame, right? And then find yourself starting taking or participating in with PA, right? Well, that is just simply what I'm gonna find myself waiting out for. All right, and if we are, or if we can see that actual respect from this area, once again, 1 hourly 15-minute whatsoever, wait for that change in market structure to find yourself participating in with price. All right, so for this week I am gonna find myself being quite neutral when it comes down to price, right? Or a little bit more safe, on the safer side, right? But I am gonna find myself start looking for shorts for this coming week. In the comment section, let me know what is your bias. Are you long? Are you short when it comes down to the NASDAQ? And make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate each and every single one of you. It's me, your boy D. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. I'm out.